Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the holiday webinar. We're going to give it about another 3 to 5 minutes to see if we can get some more people to join. If you want to put into the chat where you're from, that would be awesome. Hey everyone, welcome back to week 2 of our holiday hustle series. We've got a lot of people here from all over the United States, including one person from Zimbabwe, so we're really excited to have you with us. I'm Kelsey, Director of Customer Success Strategy, and with me is Robbie, Justuno's Director of Solutions.
Hi, everybody.
This week, we're going to be going over Black Friday through Cyber Monday best practices. Remember, if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat, and one of our customer success strategists will be there to help you out. The best way to get ready for this year is to take a look at what happened to your site last year. If you're not sure, don't worry. We have data from 2018 to share. Robbie?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, let's take a look at some of our KPIs that we noted from 2018 that is going to help inform the strategy that we put forth today and in this whole series. So looking at unlocked promotions, we saw an average of a 16.63 sales conversion rate. And what that means is 16.63% of people that viewed or clicked on those unlocked promotions ended up checking out. So that's a pretty strong indicator. And what does this mean for us? This means during Black Friday and Cyber Monday specifically, don't interrupt the visitor flow or make them work for the deals that you're offering because your competition isn't. And this is something that we'll really kind of harp on through the rest of this series, is making it easy for your customers to be customers. Another thing is deals are really kind of an expectation of this time of the year, and especially on Black Friday and throughout Cyber Week. So asking or putting barriers in between those discounts or trying to do things like ask for an email at that time are going to make most visitors bounce from your site and not actually convert into a sale. A little bit on countdown timers. Countdown timers, there's a 13.86 engagement rate during the Cyber 5 using countdown timers. That's an engagement rate with the timers, and then a 22% conversion rate with those same promotions using timers. So that's a huge jump from what we normally see as an 8% average engagement rate during the rest of the year. So people are really, they feel the urgency of shopping during this time of year, and you putting those timers in front of them help them kind of see that and kind of confirm that for themselves. So what are some things that create urgency? End dates. So when does your sale end, or when do they think your sale ends? Other things are, get it while it's in stock. If you can press some urgency using a timer for some very hot new products that you're offering, that is going to help. That's going to help motivate people to purchase earlier and feel that sense of urgency. So, I mean, holidays they're obviously very date specific, which is why this sort of limited time mentality works so well. So take advantage of that and use these kind of more compelling timers to close these sales. You can also later on, you can use them for shipping deadlines. So customers know that they don't have much time left to get their gifts on time, but more on that throughout the series. And one last note on timers as well is you want to try to keep it under 24 hours, unless it's a general message about maybe a shipping deadline or something like that. But if this is related to a coupon code that they have to use or a sale that ends very soon, you want to kind of keep that urgency, keep placing those timers and setting end dates that are past 24 hours. Those are typically not going to press as much urgency. They're going to make the visitor feel like they, in fact, have more time. So moving on from that, welcome mat messaging. So basically just letting people know when they arrive at the site on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, here is the deal. Here's our doorbuster deal. And doing that in a way that displays and covers the site upon entrance and then gets out of the way. We saw a 17% engagement rate on that last year, and it converted at almost the same rate. So what the conceptual takeaway here is, it's very eye-catching and lets them know at the beginning without being too interruptive of the experience further down the funnel once they get to these areas where their intent to buy is a little bit higher. The targeting setup that you use for this is critical. You want to make sure that most times when we have people display promotions to new visitors or to people arriving on the site, we usually push for a delay, but this would be the one exception to that rule. You want to get the message in front of your visitors, in front of your traffic. You want to say, here's what our deals are. And then you want to make sure that by the time they close it, they're not going to see that again. And we'll put some things in place to remind them of that, but you do not want to interrupt that experience more than just at the very top of the funnel. During the rest of the year, let's talk a little bit about spin to wins. During the rest of the year, our spin to win lead capture campaigns, they average about a 13.3% opt-in rates. So really great numbers when you utilize that kind of gamified approach. However, during Black Friday and Cyber 5 or the Cyber Week, that rate drops to about 6.5%. So this is a huge proof of concept that you do not want to be focusing. You do not want your goal for your traffic to be to sign up for your emails during Black Friday and Cyber Week. You want the goal to be the sales conversion. You want to facilitate that in any way that you can. So you should not focus on capturing leads from new traffic. And this is the only time of year that we're going to tell you to do that. So, so those numbers dropped. You know, that if you wanted to do something for extra credit and you do want to still capture emails during this time of year, one great way to do that would be maybe a back in stock email for a product that is no longer in stock. Kelsey?
Taking everything that Robbie just talked about and putting it on your site tends to be the hardest jump from what should I run and then how should I run it. So on the screen, we have an example strategy of something that worked really well last year. You'll see we have 4 promotions: a welcome promotion, a banner, an exit offer, and a cart abandoner. When using these, if you chose to use these and I came to your site, the experience would be I would land on your site within 10 to 15 seconds. I would be served a welcome promotion that just tells me, you know, hey, 30% off site wide, coupon code not needed. Gives me all the information that I need and allows me to know what my next step should be if I choose to purchase on your site. I close that promotion, and the first thing that would happen is that I would get a banner that has the discount amount, which in this example would be 30%, as well as a countdown timer to let me know how long that sale lasts. Let's say I browse for a little bit, I maybe add an item to my cart, and on a product page, I decide I want to see if there's something better somewhere else. So I go to exit and I get another promotion. This creates urgency and gives me the feeling like I should purchase now from you. Copy like you only have 6 hours left to take advantage of 30% off. It's effective to most visitors to make them pause before leaving and truly consider abandoning their browse. If I had not gotten an exit offer from a product page, if I had chosen to go all the way to the checkout page and then tried to abandon, you would have a very similar promotion as a cart abandoner. You want to make sure that, as you see in this chart, I have set it so the visitors will only see one kind of exiting marketing, but not both. With these 4 promotions, you're gently going to lead all of your customers to the checkout process without giving an overwhelming visitor experience. Let's take a look at an example exit or cart abandoner. Robbie's going to break that down for us.
Yeah, sure. And while she's transferring over to that slide, I just want to mention too, last week we talked a lot about using this time right now to A/B test. And so if you want to incorporate an exit offer like what you're seeing, you can do that and test against a control audience right now, meaning a group that sees nothing. So you can already get a proof of concept of something like this, utilizing one of our pre-builts or our templates before it gets to that kind of like critical mass of Black Friday. So let's talk a little bit about the design here. So our copy is urgent, right? We're letting people know like this is not something that this is not a deal that you're going to be able to take advantage of every day. This deal is only happening for as long as the timer basically says it has left. We're utilizing a lot of something we talked about last week is the hierarchy in typography. So time is running out. We're using a bold look on the discount because we want people's eyes to focus on what the deal is that they are leaving behind, right? When they choose to exit the site, this is the deal that they're leaving behind. And so we're also leaving them with the amount of time that they have left to act, as well as our call to action, which is we want them to check out. So these are extremely effective, especially at the cart level or for someone that already has items in their cart. When the intent to buy is increased, these become even more effective. So there's obviously a lot of directions you can go, but that's kind of a breakdown of the design of the campaign that you see here.
I wanted to take a few minutes here and discuss something we talked about last week. your early access or VIP experiences should be set up and running soon. This includes collecting emails early and having an email campaign to keep them informed and excited. Robbie, if you could go through how to take those visitors and treat them on Black Friday, that would be awesome.
Yeah, totally. So, so those visitors that you're targeting with your lead capture right now, I would still start by segmenting new from returning visitors. I mean, that is sort of a mantra that I sort of talk about year round is those are just two different goals, right? New visitors can and should be incentivized to get early access to your doorbuster deals. And there are a few ways that we have for you to segment those subscribers once they get into your ESP. And we found that this type of incentive, the early access to Black Friday, is the best way to reduce discounting before your biggest discount day of the year, right? So you're kind of building a little bit of anticipation. So return visitors, though, return visitors offer this kind of big wide world of segmentation and all the possibilities that exist there. So they have a stronger intent to buy. So it's important to get really granular with the rules, right? So Kelsey's going to show you right now. Consider these segments. Consider a segment of visitors, for example, who are maybe repeat purchasers or have items in their cart when they return, or have never made a purchase and return to your site. This is a very focused, high intent group that is likely waiting for your deals to buy. You could do a couple things with them during Black Friday. You could give it to them early. You could give them like a taste of what the deal is, so that they won't go price hunting. But again, at the end of the day, you can treat these customers. You can get very personalized with the messaging. You can show them dynamic offers. You can offer them a gift with their purchase because you already know what might be in their cart, for instance. And you can also say, hey, we'll give you VIP access to return visitors. You might say, we'll give you return access if you don't already have them on your newsletter list. Say, sign up. You'll be the first to know about our big deals when that comes through. However granular you do get, you'll want to add a hidden field. And this is kind of what we talk about, segmenting these people once they do sign up for your early access, once they get into your ESP. When you're setting up these forms in Justuno, you can add a hidden field to this specific lead capture promotion that maybe tags the new subscriber going into your ESP. You could also just create a new list for them if you want. I've seen it done both ways. This makes it easy for them to be sent a VIP email maybe 24 hours or 48 hours before Black Friday, and is fairly easy to set up within Justuno.
You want to make sure that you have started building out your strategy today, October 15th. We are already halfway through the month. So, when we think about it, we've got about 45 days until Black Friday is here. That gives you plenty of time to build, test, schedule all of your promotions before Black Friday actually starts. Keep in mind that during the holiday season, simple is best. You want to assist your visitors to convert in the clearest and easiest way. If you're not confident about your design skills, we have a wonderful pre-built library where you can find designs. All you're going to need to do is go into your promotions dashboard, click create promotion. When this little pop-up shows up, choose pre-built, and we have all of the holidays all the way through New Year's organized by holiday in that drop-down menu at the top. These promotions go from simple to animated to somewhat complex, so you have a lot of options on what you would want to be using. We're going to go over a few of your top holiday questions that we didn't get to last week. If you have any other questions or something else sparks in your mind while we're talking about these different things, feel free to put it in the chat. Our customer success strategists are here, or you can put it in the Q&A and we'll make sure someone gets to you. We'll start with the best performing strategy for Black Friday. It's kind of an open-ended question. The big thing that I would definitely suggest is pretty much what we just talked about, keeping it simple. The other things to consider is data from last year. Robbie, do you have those numbers?
On our data from last year. Yeah, so we could we can go through in terms of those are the things that we went through earlier in the presentation. But I'm happy to go through a couple again. Let's see, have a lot in front of me. So, see, 21.55% average converted engagements or engaged conversions from banners. So one thing that this does is this kind of highlights our strategy around providing some messaging and getting out of the way, right? So we see a lot of people, there used to be, I noticed a trend in the past where people would they would up their discount amounts, but they would still ask for emails. And that's when this kind of idea was born. Like, the big box retailers are not asking for emails. They're just putting the messaging out there. They're guiding their visitors, and then they're getting out of the way. So when we look at our data from last year and we see that on average, our banners got around a 21% engaged conversion rate, then that lets us know that our strategy was in fact correct. And so maybe, let's see, like another one.
Robbie, if I can jump in, something else to consider is the use of plugins. Justuno allows a wide variety of different kinds of plugins to really bring your designs and the functionality of your promotions into the next level. Last year during Black Friday, we saw that any promotion using a plugin had a 13.52 average engagement rate and an 8.54 without the plugin. On average, we saw a 21% average conversion rate for those with plugins and a 19.01 without. If you guys don't know where plugins are, I can show you very quickly.
Maybe we can talk about like maybe a quick example of what a good plugin use case would be.
Sure. Yeah, so if we just go into the design canvas here, we're going to add a layer. And down here at the bottom, there's a section for plugins. Something that's very popular during the holiday season is the snow animation. It's just a little bit of extra. You're going to be able to see here that it's showing up on your, sorry, I'm just going to reorganize here. It's showing up on your design canvas how it would show on the actual promotion. And over here on the right-hand side, you can adjust. So we can make it, if you have a black promotion, you can use white. If you have a white promotion, you can use like a dark blue. And then there's a speed set for how fast the snow falls, a theme, and then a set item count. So that would be how many flakes are falling. And then if we just pop into preview here, you'll be able to see it's a very nice, very easy to see through plugin that just adds a little extra level that gets people's attention.
Yeah. So those are aesthetic things too, but like plugins are also timers, right? They're also, if you want to run a spin to win on an unlocked promotion and you want to, like if you do want to dress up your campaigns a little bit, then as long as the call to actions are very simple, as long as you're not creating a barrier to your deals. And I would even go so far as to say, like, I wouldn't recommend utilizing coupon codes on these specific campaigns. If at all possible through your cart platform service, I would recommend auto applying those discounts or making the discounts as sweeping and site-wide as possible to, the classic adage of don't make me think as a consumer really applies here. So that's why you'll hear Kelsey and I talk a lot about keeping the strategy for Black Friday and Cyber Monday or Cyber Week, just keeping it simple, keeping it as simple as possible.
All right, next question. What are the best preparation techniques for Q4 and the holiday season? My personal answer would be plan early. Have an idea of what you want to do early and start giving yourself little goals to reach at different dates. So that way, by the time you hit November 1st or November 10th, whatever your final date is, you're ready to go and everything's set up and you don't have to stress about it for the rest of the year. Do you have any thoughts, Robbie?
I completely agree. It's start early because most of the time, and we've done these in the past, and we survey people, they get started a little late and then it's stressful. And at least from the Justuno front, if you start it early enough, it's really, really pretty simple. It's really easy to accomplish. But yeah, start early, that's sort of would be my advice.
Our next question is definitely a Robbie question. I'm not exactly sure what it means. How many resends is the perfect amount? I'm assuming that that's talking towards emails. Any thoughts, Robbie?
How many resends are the perfect amount? Well, it changes, right? If you're a company like Justuno, we don't send as many emails as a direct to consumer e-commerce brand, right? So I honestly, I could not tell you for sure. I can't claim to be a professional email marketer. I'd love to maybe hear what anybody in the audience, if they have any expertise on that. I would say that email is going to be a very competitive channel during that time of the year. So whatever you do attempt to resend, I would make sure that you're resending to a targeted group of people that are showing a high level of interest, and the amount of resends go up with the amount of interest that they're showing.
Just a kind of example of what Robbie's talking about, someone who just signs up for an early access email would be a moderate amount of interest in your site, whereas someone who's abandoned their cart, that's a high level amount of interest in your site. So we would suggest maybe send, as just an example, one email to someone who just signed up, and then maybe 2 or 3 to someone who's abandoned a cart with a certain value over the top.
Yeah. Like maybe during Cyber Week, I mean, that's when I feel like all the, people pull all bets are off, right? And all the norms and best practices and politeness are kind of out the window. So maybe during that time, maybe you send an abandoned cart email once every couple of days, once every 48 hours, whereas maybe the rest of the year you don't send them that often. But I to put as close of a number on it, I think, as we can, maybe that would be it.
Our next question refers to on-site experience. Do you recommend any technology that could be implemented to boost store experience during the code freeze? I'm guessing that this question came from somebody using a specific platform like BigCommerce or Shopify or Magento. Anything you can do, I mean, that's Justuno in a nutshell, is we are an on-site technology that helps implement different strategies to help you boost your on-site conversions. So you're already one step ahead by having us installed on your site. Robbie, do you have anything else to add to that?
Nope. Nailed it. Our code does not update when you launch a promotion. So you can run and change, adjust, test, optimize throughout code freezes.
How can I maximize my sales? The big answer would be follow the strategies that we just gave. Look at the previous data from last year. And we're going to keep saying it over and over again, keeping it simple, giving your customer the easiest from entering your site to purchasing on your site as clear as possible. Do you have anything else, Robbie?
Just one thing that we haven't quite touched too much on, which is mobile first. So take a mobile first approach. Make sure that everything about your mobile experience is as simple and easy and pleasant for your traffic as possible. And then, because we are now officially in a mobile first world.
That's a great point. And something to keep in mind when you're building out your mobile promotions is anyone who is seeing your promotion on an iPhone, and this goes for your sites as well. If the size of your font is less than 16 pixels, iPhones automatically zoom in when you click on that. So just keep that in mind as you're building things out. You want to make sure you're having, for like your buttons, your CTAs, your coupon codes, anything like that, you want to have it to be at least 16 pixels to have a very seamless effect for iPhone users.
Yeah. They say that on mobile, whatever promotion you're showing, whatever display you're showing to people, you need to make the opt out just as big as the opt in.
Right.
So that's an important thing to notice.
How to drive more sales to my own site. We touched on this quite a bit in our last webinar, but some of you may not have been able to be there or, haven't had a chance to re-listen. Making sure that you're collecting emails now and promoting your Black Friday deals and sales is a big deal. You want to make sure that you're utilizing this time to collect emails. The other thing would be to utilize the lower prices in ad spend for Facebook, Google AdWords, any of that. You want to be pushing people to your site now, getting them to sign up, and then utilizing those signups during Black Friday week and as we get closer. So you can send an email to these people rather than spend an arm and a leg trying to pay for Google AdWords during the high shopping period.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in and say, like, it sounds, what I'm seeing from this question in particular is like keeping sales on our own site maybe versus Amazon, for instance, which we're going to get into next week. But, do what Amazon does, right? Like offer 2-day shipping, free 2-day shipping if that's possible for you, or set thresholds for it. Do what they do and make sure you're doing things that they can't do, right? Like you might be able to offer a free gift with the purchase over $50, which Amazon is not going to do, right? And Target and Walmart and all the big box people who take up all the sales in the holidays, they're not going to be able to do those things because they're retailers. If you can do that, or you can offer some sort of incentive, an added incentive, then do that, and you will steal some of those sales back on your own site.
The other thing to keep in mind is Amazon has a certain look and has a certain vibe when you go onto their site. Your site has your specific brand voice. Utilize that to the best of your ability. Make the shopping experience seem very unique and personal, because Amazon can't do that. Next question is how to test which offer to use for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Should they be the same offer? Robbie, why don't you start off with this one?
Which offer to use for Black Friday and Cyber Monday? Okay, so a little peek behind the curtain here. To be 100% honest with everybody watching or listening, every year, most people will just repurpose their Black Friday promotions and use them during the entire Cyber Week. And so that's really fun because you can just duplicate what you did for Black Friday, change a little bit of maybe the colors and the branding and the things that say Black Friday, change it into Cyber Monday, and you can keep it going, and you can schedule those to start at the moment the Black Friday ones end, and then you can set those to go all week. And so that is typically what we'll find people do for the remainder of Cyber Week, because you might have an entirely different strategy after that to nab some last minute sales before the holiday rush is over.
100% agree. Our next question is, what do I do to differentiate this season? The one thing that I would suggest, just as a personal thing, is if I was shopping on your site last season and then I see the same promotion this season, I'm always a little bummed. I shop for a personal experience. So I like it when companies have grown since the last year. Just something to keep in mind is updating your designs. That it could be that simple. Robbie, do you have anything?
No, this is always the biggest question, I think, for small to medium-sized e-commerce businesses during this time of year, maybe all year. And I would say that's, you just have to, you have to kind of switch it up, switch your deals up, switch the design up, do something, get creative, stand out in a sort of omni-channel sense, and then also make your deals unique.
Our next question is how to maximize Facebook ads. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. Do them now, get them out of the way. The other thing is really put on your marketing cap and come up with some clever phrases, maybe something a little bit cheeky, something that's going to make people giggle to themselves. A positive influence in marketing is really going to get people to pay attention to your ad in comparison to the other ads around you.
Nothing to add there.
What's the least I can do to get ready? First thing, you join this webinar, so that's perfect. Robbie, why don't you take this?
I was just going to say that was a great question. Like, I think it's very poignant because you have so many other things going on, but utilize our pre-builts, do some minor design changes, and schedule them. And that is, I'd say that's the bare minimum. You can do even less if you have the resources to utilize our pro services, for example, then you don't have to do anything. But if you're in the position where you're going to be doing these things, you want to know what the least, what's the bare minimum, then utilize our pre-builts because we'll have them all available, and then make some minor adjustments, and that's it.
I think the biggest thing that you can do when it comes to like setting things live is have a welcome offer that tells people when they land on your site what your discount is, and have an exit offer to remind them with a countdown timer. I think that's as boned as you can get it, but that's still going to help increase your conversions. Our next question is how to stay organized. I love this question. It's my favorite question out of all of these, actually. It's a hard thing to do, 100%. Here in our account management department, we struggle with this question, and we're always looking to build a better way of keeping ourselves organized. Some things that have worked in the past, create a Google Sheets doc or an Excel doc and list out the promotions you're planning on running, what the dates are, what the begin and end dates are, what the coupon code is going to be if you're going to have a coupon code. Just put all of your information there and keep to it. Don't change things too much. That allows your early planning to be effective during the actual time of the holiday season. The other thing you could possibly do is we have a system here where when we're getting ready to test everything, we have multiple people test the same promotion. It's just a smart thing to do because Macs and PCs function differently. So it's just something that you could possibly do if you use Slack or IM or any kind of company-wide messaging, making sure that you put that out there and say, hey, everybody test this. Robbie, do you have any other suggestions?
Yeah, well, just to use our folders, like when you're speaking in the context of Justuno, we have a folder system that's there to help keep all your holiday promotions organized. But by and large, Kelsey is a lot more organized than I am, so I defer.
The folders are fantastic. Just make sure that you name them. What we like to do here in the professional services department is name them by the holiday and the year. So that way, when you're coming back next year, you know exactly where you are, what you did, and you can duplicate from there and make a 2020 folder. Our next question is where to start and integrate the extra work in my day. That's another great question. Pre-builts can help limit the time that you're going to spend in the design canvas. We have a large support article system, support dashboard that has a lot of answers to your questions on rules and everything else. Robbie said it earlier, the other thing that you can do is hire us for the holiday season. We have a holiday package as well as a deal running for webinar participants that we'll go over here after we finish these questions. And we'll do it all for you. We'll take care of it. We'll organize it for you. We'll make sure everything's running. We'll test it. We'll schedule it and everything else. Robbie, for those who can't get into professional services, do you have any other suggestions on how to fit it into their daily schedule?
Just, maybe give it an hour a day, starting now, and you should be done in like 3 days or 4 days. Like the pre-built thing is really kind of spot on because that's our best practices already baked into the promos. And again, all you have to do is like kind of put your brand voice and your brand assets on it, and then you're done.
All right, that's a great answer. So our next question is, how can I increase average order value with in-promotion bundling, upsells, and gift basketing? This is another great question. My personal favorite is free gift with purchase over a certain amount. So if you see that your average order value is $30, say if you spend $50, you get a free gift with purchase. It can be something small, something branded. I've seen this work really well with stickers. Company stickers, especially if you have a really cool brand, or small things. I know we had a watch company that gave away bracelets, small things like that very much relate to the main product that you're selling. The other thing that you can do is build product to product upsells. It's not the simplest thing to do, but if you spend your time and you're very particular about how you build it, it's going to be a large increase in average order value. We'll make sure that we add that to the email to go out, a little article explaining how to do that. Just as an example for strategy, you take your top selling product and your second top selling product. And if someone adds your top selling product to their cart, a little promotion fires and says, best sold together, add this product, our second best selling product or our paired product, and take 5% off, or at face value, however you want to do it. Robbie, do you have anything else to add here?
Yeah, well, I don't want to give away too much from next week's episode, but I would say, free shipping thresholds, letting people know like, hey, spend this much to get free shipping, so on and so forth. Those are all that, and the upselling and cross-selling. We're going to be getting into a lot of that next week.
How can we sustain holiday sales from Cyber Week through the holidays? This is another really awesome question. The best thing that you can do is to communicate with your visitors via email, especially if you've done the early access or the Find Our Black Friday deals, any kind of campaign like that. The other thing that works really well is countdown banners. If you have a client, if you have a visitor who's in, Kansas, and you're located in LA, make sure that you let that person in Kansas know when they have to order to get it by Christmas. That can help push people to actually purchase by reminding them how long they have left until the actual holiday. I know Robbie's going to go over a lot more of this next week, but do you have anything to add for today?
Not yet. That's a good summary.
When do we start rolling out pre-holiday sales? If you're doing Black Friday and all of that, start planning now. If you're going to run a pre-holiday sale to Black Friday or Thanksgiving, you can start that whenever you want, but people are going to be looking out for that at Black Friday. So keep that in mind as you're kind of deciding if you want to do that or not.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't. I would actually say pre-holiday sales, they might help you stand out a little bit, when you talk about differentiation from other brands, but ultimately that's why you're running your Black Friday sales, right? Like you ultimately you're going to be running those then. So maybe don't cannibalize those sales by offering them too early, would be my initial thought. But then again, every year sales start early and earlier. People talk about it earlier and earlier. So, I probably, in my own store, I probably wouldn't run them early. I would just be super, I would be super proactive on awareness campaigns as early as possible.
All right. And our last question from your top holiday questions is, what is the best type of sale for e-commerce? The reason that I put this in here is because each site is different. Your site is not going to completely perfectly mirror your competitor's site or someone who sells. If you sell ice cream cones, it's not going to matter if someone sells bicycles or if someone sells sprinkles. They're going to have a different experience for their users, and people are going to behave differently on their site. The best way to find out the best sale that works for you is to test. And we know that we're getting close to November, and A/B testing isn't always the best option during November, but run a quick sale, even if you can't have a full 30 days or a full 10,000 sessions. Run percentage versus dollar. Try out, a 10% versus a 15%. See what information you can get in the meantime and utilize that during Black Friday. Robbie, do you have any insight?
No, nothing to add on that front as much.
Awesome. I just want to say, I keep seeing this question pop up in the chat. You will get a recording of this webinar after it'll be tomorrow morning. You'll get it. There we go. Yeah. You'll get it tomorrow morning. It'll also include support articles on setting up some of the things we talked about, as well as blog posts of things that we may have discussed. And it will include this actual recording so you can listen to it. Next week, I'll talk about that here in just a second. The deal we talked about a little bit earlier, if you're thinking you might want help planning and or executing Justuno this year, we're offering a special discount for webinar participants. You're going to be able to take 20% off a 6-month professional service plus hybrid plan. We do have limited spacing for new clients, and this offer expires October 18th, which is next Tuesday. So if you're interested, just email Derek@justuno.com with Holiday Hustle in the subject line. Next week, we're going to talk about testing and final steps for Cyber 5. If you're able to attend next week, we do ask that you come with some of your holiday questions. We're looking past Cyber Monday, what's going to be happening in December and what your plans are for that. Come with questions. If you have an idea of what you want to run, write it down and let's talk about it next week. We're trying very much to tailor your experience in this webinar to what your needs are. So bring us questions and we'll be able to help you out personally. Robbie, do you have anything to add for this week's?
Nope. I do look forward to seeing other people's questions. And if you have strategies that you ran last year that you're not hearing here, that you're like, hey, this worked really well for me. We often find that I feel like the biggest differentiator between the different types of stores is what your average order value is. So strategies that work for high AOV brands may not work for low AOV brands and the other way around. So we want to hear everything that you have to tell us, because we're going off of the data that we have and the strategies that we've seen work, but that doesn't mean that they're not the only ones, you know?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We hope to see you next week, and you will get a recording of this tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your week, guys.
Thanks, everyone.